You don't know how long there's going to be fresh produce out there. We don't know what to expect. What if it's just been extended by how many days? Who knows? We might just run completely out of fresh vegetables. This is really a time of need. This is really an important point. You have to be growing food at home. This is my list of top veggies to plant right now during lockdown. Hello everyone, it's Carl here, the garden guy, and today I'm quickly going to be talking a bit about my favorite veggies to be planting during the Corona lockdown, and they will give you free food in your own homegrown little garden. Isn't that awesome? So this is my list of top veggies to plant right now during lockdown. With this whole lockdown thing, I'm kind of the opinion that it's changing the whole world. The world will never be the same again, and I'm sort of hoping that more and more people out there realize the importance and the significance of food gardening, of growing food at home. Can you imagine that? So I'm busy here. As you can see, we do that quite often. So these are some of last season's cabbages still lying around here. But I'm busy planting my new little dudes right now as we speak. Now, first veggie to be planting during lockdown is your common broad bean. Now, broad beans are lovely little plants. You grow them right from seed, very easily, very quickly. So what's nice about broad beans is that they grow relatively fast and they have a massive load. They produce so many beans. You just get endless amounts of vegetables from a few simple plants. Right now is a terrific time to be planting broad beans in your garden. Now, broad beans have a nice relatively big size seed, and they grow really easy, which makes them a lovely plant to be growing when you want to get children involved in the garden, your kiddies. Now is it's the perfect time to be getting the whole family in the garden, spend some time together, and I mean, what's better than getting free food while you're at it? Now, broad beans you can sow directly into the garden, so literally just draw a line anywhere you like in the garden and stick a few beans in there, and they'll come up and be happy just as they are. They've got very simple needs. All they want is some full sun. You have to have them in full sun, and they enjoy a bit of a support, some sort of a structure you can put up there for them. Now, this can be anything from a basic little stake of some twine. What's a great trick with broad beans? The night before planting, or sometimes even 2 days before you plan on planting them, just throw them in some water and let them soak a bit, and you'll see really quickly those beans get nice and big, and some of them might even start pushing out their little radical roots and start germinating. What's very nice about doing that is that your broad beans will be germinating a lot faster, so they'll be coming up a bit quicker, and it's lovely to show the children the whole growth process and just share something with the kiddies. I find a lot of times when people involve children in their gardening, and especially in food gardening, the kids are so much more likely to enjoy the food with them, be it beans or broccoli or whatever. They love eating it when they've helped to grow it. So that's a lovely tip for you at home. Oh, these are going in beautiful over here. They're going to be so stunning once they become proper little mature plants. Right, so my second vegetable you need to be planting now in your autumn vegetable garden is spinach. Spinach or Swiss chard. What we as South Africans know as spinach is actually called Swiss chard. But you can plant both of them now, spinach and the Swiss chard. And it's a lovely time to be planting them. And what's really nice when you're planting spinach is you get a hell of a lot of them in a pack of seeds. There's so much more than what you can eat. And that one plant really survives quite some time. And you harvest quite a bit off of a single plant if you feed them well and if you treat them right. Now, what's nice about spinach is they pretty much grow like weeds. So you can actually sow those little spinach seeds. They're sizable enough that you can handle them with your hands, which means you can physically just plant them in your garden beds where you'd like some spinach, allocate a little spot, and then just stick in your little spinach seeds where you'd like them, and then water them in, and they'll come up quick and easy, and they'll be lovely, feeding the whole family all season long. They're lovely plants. They take the cold well. So it's nice to have them growing now during autumn. And I mean, especially during this time of Corona, you don't know how long there's going to be fresh produce out there. We don't know what to expect. What if it's just been extended by how many days? You don't know what to expect. You don't know how long this ban's going to be. Who knows? We might just run completely out of fresh vegetables. This is really a time of need. This is really an important point. You have to be growing food at home. Why not? It's cheap, it's easy, and it's bloody good, man. They taste delicious. It tastes absolutely delicious. When you grow something yourself, it just tastes 100 times better. So yes, plant Swiss chard, plant some spinach now. You can plant them directly into soil, or you can plant them into trays, little trays with planting cells like this. And then as they mature, plant them out in the garden. That's very nice. And of course, I don't have to explain how incredibly healthy this chard or spinach is for you in terms of crazy amounts of vitamins and antioxidants and so many great lovely things in spinach leaf. And what I really enjoy about spinach is, remember, you can eat it raw. You can eat spinach raw. I love a delicious spinach salad with a nice little vinaigrette and some black pepper and proper feta, and it's just delicious, man. You get some olive oil or something there over a proper spinach salad. You couldn't go wrong. It's fresh right out of the garden on the plate, and it's delicious. I mean, you just can't go wrong with growing your own food. It's that simple. More and more people now with this Corona will be moving towards being self-sufficient, growing your own food at home. I mean, literally all you need is a bit of a sunny spot anywhere in the garden, and you can be growing food for the entire family and 3-4 houses down the block if you're doing it right. Number 3 vegetable you should be planting or growing during the Corona lockdown is all your salad greens. Lovely, all your lettuces. Lettuce is a lovely plant, and you can be growing the curly ones or the normal straight edge little plants. You get them in reds and greens and all sorts of different colors and varieties. You get the ones that form a little ball shape or the more bunch type growing. All sorts of lettuces, and now is a perfect time to be planting them in your garden. Not only do they grow nice and fast, so you'll be able to harvest them while you're in lockdown. I mean, how cool is that? Fresh vegetables from home, grown and sown in lockdown. I mean, that's awesome. Imagine getting to the shops and there's no more fresh veg. I mean, this is a reality we have to consider. Seriously, grow your own food. Let's get some lettuce in the garden, man. You can't go wrong with them. They grow so blooming easy, from seed or from little trays or plugs. But at home, I'd suggest just grow them from seed. Sow them all. I'll put a link in the description of this video where you can have a look at one of my videos on how to sow seeds and vegetables during the lockdown. And yes, sow some lettuce, man. Grow some fresh lettuce for you and the family. Some tips on when you're growing the lettuce: just make sure they're well watered at all times. They can wilt quite quickly, but they'll show you when they're thirsty, so you'll know definitely when they need some water. Just be sure to be checking on them, so you make sure you notice when they need some water. And they like sun, they like enough light. Give them enough light. They do enjoy the cold. Don't be bothered, don't be worried. They will take the cold well, but not frost at all. You don't want your lettuce plants getting frost, because that will kill them back right there. They're soft little plants, and frost just knocks them out silly. So if you're in an area where you do get frost, just make sure to cover your lettuce plants with a basic screen, any sort of frost cover, or even a bit of shade cloth. Anything you want to do, anything you can put over them just to protect them a bit from the frost. They're fine with the cold, but they can't take the frost. Right, so grow some lettuce, grow some fresh lettuce in your backyard, in your garden. Your family will love you for it. My number 4 vegetable you should be planting and growing now during lockdown is carrots and beetroots. Your root vegetables, they can be planted now, both carrots and beetroot. Now, you'll see a packet of carrot seed. There are so many seeds in a packet of carrot seed. It's ridiculous. I mean, you'd be crazy to sow that whole packet at once. So it's really important when it comes to your root vegetables to plant them periodically. Every 2 weeks or so, plant another row. That means you're always going to have them in different phases of growth, so you can use them continuously. And it will also mean that they're not planted so close to each other that bacteria and all sorts of fungi start forming in between these plants, because that's something that happens quite often with people in growing vegetable gardens. They plant things too close to each other, and it ends up in a situation where there's no real air movement between the plants, sunlight isn't able to get in there, and that's when the pests come and make their little house there in all those little dark spaces. So be really careful of that. Make sure you plant your plants far enough apart. A very nice tip when it comes to your root vegetables, your carrots and your beetroots, is to prepare your soil very nicely. Prepare your soil down nice and deep before you plant them on the top. Reason being, when you have rocks or some hard sort of materials, or even just pieces of compressed soil beneath where you're planting your root vegetables, they'll tend to sort of grow in all sorts of funny, wangly shapes as that root moves through the soil. When it hits something hard, it sort of affects its way of growth, and then you get poor stunned vegetables which don't look good, and they don't give you proper vegetables. They don't give you a nice size root to then harvest. So always when planting root vegetables, make sure you plant them evenly, and make sure that you prepare the soil nice and deep. Okay, nice and deep, and water them in well. So my number 5 vegetable you should be growing during lockdown is peas. Oh yes, peas are my favorite to be growing this time of year. They love the cold, they do really well, and there's so many different parts of the plant you can eat. And you know what, with kids, if you're gardening with children, you have to plant some peas. They grow nice and quick, and you can just crack them right off the plant in the garden. Eat these lovely, sweet, fresh peas. I tell you, you cannot beat it. It's lovely. It's absolutely a must-do. Plant them right now during lockdown. Now, peas enjoy a bit of a sunny spot, as most vegetables. You want to be giving your peas a proper support structure, so something they can climb up into, and then you can plant them quite close to each other if you're going to be giving them a nice support structure. And it's really important to help them get enough light and to keep diseases away, and just in general for your entire vegetable garden, keep your climbers on stakes. Keep them on stakes. Even your pumpkins you can grow up on stakes. Okay. Another nice little thing you should know about peas is that you can eat the tendrils and the flowers as well. Oh yes, and they are delicious in a salad. Just pop them right in there, pluck them off, you can taste the little pea flower. And you can do that with beans as well. You'll see if you plant a few seeds, you'll have more than what you know what to do with. And then it's lovely to have some flowers to pick and put in the salad, or some of the pea tendrils. You know, you can do a little gourmet thing there at home if you like, for the other half or whatever. But they're just lovely. You can eat almost any part of the plant, and it's all delicious, and they grow quick and easy and without a fuss. You have to have some peas in your garden during lockdown. So the last of my suggestions of vegetables you should be planting now during your lockdown is your brassicas, your cabbages. You get cabbages and Brussels sprouts and your cauliflowers and your broccolis. They're all from the brassica family. Yes, they're all in one family, right? So all of them can be planted now. They do so well if you plant them now and just look after them. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you're working with the brassicas, the cabbages and the broccolis and those kind of things, you got to keep in mind that every plant only gives you one harvest. Okay, so it's quite important that you plant them sporadically. Every 2 weeks or so, plant a few more, sow a few more of them into the garden, so you have them at different phases of growth. Because when you harvest a head of cabbage, you pluck the whole thing right off. Yes, fair, it lasts a good week in the fridge because it's a big head of cabbage, but you get one from one plant. Okay, so every plant is only one harvest. It's really important to remember when you're doing your vegetable planning. Now, one of the big reasons now is the best time to be planting all these cabbage types is because it gets colder now. It's getting a bit cooler, and these guys tend to be a bit susceptible to pests and different fungal attacks. So it's very nice now when the temperatures go down to have these in your garden, because there won't be any pests. The pests hate the cold, so they stay away during winter, which means you get nice big fresh vegetables without any hassle. Plant them now. right now. So that's my top list of vegetables to be planting during lockdown. As you can see, I'm already at it. I'd suggest you get in there as quick as you can and grow some free food, man. What could go wrong? It's a lovely time in the garden with the family. Get some soil on your hands, have a good time, and get some free food, fresh during lockdown. If you're looking for vegetables to be planting this time of year, I'll put a link in the description to one of my clients who's selling these vegetables nationwide right now online. You can get access to seeds as well as some plugs if they still have in stock. Okay, you'll have to hurry up. I'm not sure if they have in stock anymore, but they're definitely able to trade now during these times, and it's the best time to be growing a food garden ever. You don't even know if there's fresh veg on those shelves in the next 3 weeks. Thank you for your time. I've been Carl Mormon, your garden guy. Until next time, happy gardening and happy food growing.